Right, so to recap so far, we've spoken about the three key parts of your brain, which we call the reptile, the animal, and the human brain, which relates scientifically to the brainstem and the cerebellum, the limbic system, and the prefrontal cortex. Now, your state of your brain then translates into the state of your nervous system, of which there are two. So you have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic ones. Now, it's very, very key for you to be able to enjoy yourself and for your body and mind to make changes that you're spending more time in the parasympathetic nervous system, because this is the branch of the system which basically lets your body work and focus its energy onto itself. So it's really, really key that we spend more time in this relaxed, chilled, recharging, regenerating state than we do in the stressed, reactive, firefighting, kind of rush, go, state. So what I want to talk to you today, again, it's just more ways of helping you be more parasympathetic and less sympathetic and less stressed. And the key thing we're going to talk about in today's video is something called the French paradox. Now, I'm going to put a little blog up about this as well, and please feel free to Google this. This is a real thing. And basically what the French paradox is it's a theory that kind of states, it's a little bit dated now because the French are changing their ways, but what the theory was saying was that even though the French would typically smoke the most cigarettes, drink the most alcohol, eat the most dairy, and consume the most amount of red meat in Europe, they would still have the lowest incidence of obesity, inactivity, stroke, heart disease, and cancer. So the kind of paradox is, well, how come the French typically appear to be healthier, despite kind of having a diet that seems to contradict everything that we're told over here? And so the argument was basically put across that actually, it's not so much what they're eating, but more the way that they're eating. Now, if you ever spent any time in France, you'll know that kind of meal times and the whole food experience is very, very different to what we do here in the UK. Lunch in France takes forever. Right from buying really, really fresh bread that day to shopping in local markets and local shops. The whole experience around preparation and getting the meal ready involves the whole family. And then the meal itself is eaten really slowly. There's a lot of conversation, a lot of connection. And so what the theory is that actually is the way that the foods are being eaten actually is more impactful than the actual specifics of the food that are being eaten. Does that make sense? So we're looking at your whole experience and the environment around your food. Now, contrast that with a typical UK lunch about popping into Tesco's, grabbing a quick sandwich or whatever's on a meal deal, and then eating it as quickly as possible before you get back to the office, and then getting home, chucking anything in the oven to get your food in as quickly as possible. So again, typically in the UK, food is seen more as an inconvenience, whereas particularly in France and Spain and on the continent, it's more of an experience. So two very, very different styles of approach. My view is that in this situation, the French have got it right. Now, it is changing. They are adapting and adopting more of our rushed, stress ways. So their rate of ill health is increasing. So it's certainly not the paradox that it was 10, 15 years ago. But it's still something really worth looking at. And this is something just to think about. So rather than find more and more ways of speeding up your cooking and your meal and your food experience, actually my question is, can you slow down and create more time, and with that, enjoy your food more? Put your knife and fork down in between mouthfuls rather than eating it as quick as possible to get on to the next thing. There's a definite link between people who eat slower and people who eat less. It's really, really clear that when you eat slower, when you chew your food properly, your gut and your brain have more chance to communicate. In tomorrow's video, we're going to talk about some neurotransmitters or some hormones called leptin and ghrelin, which is basically how your brain and stomach communicate together. And basically let you know you're full and that you've had enough. Now, when you eat quickly and food's an inconvenience because you're at your desk, in your car, on the go, your brain and gut don't get that opportunity to have a conversation. Therefore, you never really know that you're full up until you've massively overeaten. So, say something just to think about today. Something to read the blog, look into it a bit more, and then the next couple of posts are going to be about right. How can we slow down and change your experience? Okay, hope that makes sense. And I'll catch you all very soon.